The sound of hooves echoes across the quiet valley. The sun rises over the Heartland Ranch, painting the fields gold. But this morning isn't like any other changes in the air. Amy stands by the fence, her eyes heavy with memories and a question she's not ready to face. Because sometimes the hardest battles aren't fought on horseback. They're fought in the heart. The day begins with soft light spilling over the barn, where the smell of hay mixes with the chill of early morning. The camera glides slowly across the familiar Heartland landscape, horses grazing, mist lifting from the fields, and the gentle hum of a new beginning. The ranch is alive again, yet there's something different. Something quieter, as if everyone's holding their breath, waiting for what comes next, inside the stable. Amy moves with her usual grace, brushing the mane of a restless mare. Her face carries a calm strength, but her eyes tell another story. She's been through loss, change, and new responsibilities that seem heavier with each sunrise. This morning, she receives a call, a voice from her past asking for help. It's about a horse she once trained years ago, one that's fallen into trouble. Amy hesitates. The pain of revisiting old wounds feels almost too much, yet her heart can't ignore the call for help. Because that's who she is, someone who listens. Not just to people, no, but to the unspoken words of animals and hearts alike. Out in the yard, Jack leans on the fence, watching her. His weathered face hides 1,000 thoughts, but his eyes, kind and steady, say everything. He knows Amy's silence means she's thinking deeply, torn between duty and fear. He walks toward her, his boots crunching softly on the gravel, and in his usual quiet way, reminds her that the past only hurts when we run from it. Maybe it's time you face it, Amy, he says gently. That horse still trusts you. Maybe it's trying to remind you to trust yourself again. Meanwhile, Lou is busy juggling her endless tasks, the ranch finances, family plans, and a phone buzzing with city calls. She pauses near the porch, watching her sister in the field, realizing how different they've become, yet how deeply connected they remain. Heartland has always been more than a home. It's a mirror, showing each of them who they are when life tests them most. As the sun climbs higher, the episode's emotion deepens. Amy saddles up, finally making her choice. The camera follows her as she rides across the open fields. The wind in her hair, the music swelling softly beneath the sound of hooves. This isn't just a ride, it's a step toward healing, toward forgiveness, toward rediscovering her purpose. In this moment, she isn't just Amy Fleming, the horse whisperer. She's a woman finding her way back to herself, to her roots, and to the rhythm of Heartland. The wind moves gently through the tall grass, carrying whispers of the past across the Heartland Ranch. Every inch of this land remembers something: laughter, tears, promises, and goodbyes. The fences, the barns, even the horses seem to hold memories that never quite fade. And as the day unfolds, those echoes begin to rise again. Amy walks through the old trail near the creek. The same place she used to ride with Ty, the sound of the water feels almost like a voice, reminding her of the moments that shaped her, moments filled with love, loss, and lessons she never asked for. Her fingers graze the wooden bridge railing, worn smooth from years of weather and emotion. This is where she once learned that healing doesn't come fast. It comes with courage in the distance. She sees Lindy playing near the paddock with Spartan, the horse that has carried Amy through the hardest chapters of her life. The sight is almost poetic, the next generation finding joy where the older one once found pain. Amy smiles softly, a fragile smile that hides a storm of feelings inside. She wants to protect her daughter from every heartbreak, but she knows she can't. Heartland has taught her that love means letting others grow, even when it hurts to watch them stumble. Meanwhile, Jack is in the barn, repairing an old saddle that belonged to Tim. The leather's cracked, the strap's worn, but his hands move with care, as if mending the past itself. Jack represents time, slow, steady, and honest. He's seen the ranch survive storms stronger than heartbreak, and yet even he senses that something is shifting again. There's a quiet unease, feeling that the past is circling back in ways none of them can control. Lou, on the other hand, faces her own crossroads. Between managing the ranch's finances and her mayoral responsibilities, she's losing pieces of herself. The city pulls her one way, while the ranch tugs her another. She looks out over the golden fields and wonders, when did home start feeling like a question instead of an answer? As the afternoon sun hits the hills, the camera pans over the familiar scenery, warm light bathing the ranch in nostalgia. Every scene is painted with memory. Amy's laughter as a child, Ty's quiet smile, Jack's advice echoing in the wind. It's not just a recap of where they've been. It's a reminder that every step forward in Heartland begins with the shadows. Left behind in the closing moments of this section, Amy looks toward the horizon, the place where the past and future seem to meet. Her voice in a soft internal monologue says, maybe the past never really leaves. Maybe it just waits. For us to be ready to listen, the screen fades slowly to black, and the sound of distant thunder hints that something new and deeply emotional is on its way. The day grows heavier, as if the sky itself feels the weight of the choices waiting at Heartland. The wind begins to stir the trees, clouds rolling in from the west, not a storm of rain, but of emotions long kept quiet. This is where episode 2 finds its heartbeat. In the silence between words. In the tension that only family can create and heal at the same time, Amy stands in the training pen, facing a horse that refuses to trust anyone. Its eyes are wild, mirroring her own fear. For a moment, it's not just a horse she's trying to reach, it's a reflection of herself. Every movement, every breath, becomes a conversation between souls that have both known loss. As the music swells softly beneath the scene, you can almost feel her heart opening again. She's not training, she's reconnecting. Healing isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about remembering what still works. Inside the house, tension brews over dinner. Lou brings up a proposal to expand the ranch's guest cabins, a plan that could bring in new income, but might also change the ranch's peaceful rhythm. Jack, ever the guardian of tradition, frowns, warning her that not everything old needs to be replaced. The room fills with quiet disagreement, the kind that doesn't need shouting to hurt. Amy watches the two most stubborn people she knows battle with pride and purpose. Her voice, calm yet firm, cuts through. Maybe Heartland doesn't need to change. Maybe we do. Outside, Tim wrestles with his own regrets. He visits the rodeo grounds, staring at an old poster of himself, a man who thought success was louder than love. There's a quiet redemption brewing within him, the kind that doesn't demand attention, but shows itself in small acts, like checking in on his grandchildren or helping Jack mend the fence without being asked. His growth is slow, but real, like a seed pushing through stubborn earth. As the episode deepens, Heartland reminds us why it remains one of the most beloved family dramas. It's not about the glamour of television. It's about the truth of life. Messy, beautiful, unpredictable. The horses, the fields, the long drives down dusty roads. They all mirror the people who live here. Every scene breathes with authenticity. Every silence carries weight. In the final moments of this section, rain finally begins to fall. Soft, steady, cleansing. Amy stands in it, her hair soaked, her spirit lighter. She looks up to the sky and smiles faintly. It's not just water washing over her. It's forgiveness, acceptance, renewal. The storm doesn't end the story, it begins it again. In a new light, the camera pans up to the wide Alberta sky, and a voiceover closes the scene, sometimes. The storms we fear the most are the ones that make us grow. Evening settles over Heartland like a soft blanket, the kind that hides the scars of the day but can't quite erase them. The ranch glows under the amber light of lanterns, and with it, the quiet moments that define this family begin to unfold. This section isn't about grand gestures or dramatic speeches. It's about the stillness, the kind that says everything when words fall short. Amy sits in the barn, her hand resting gently on Spartan's neck. The horse breathes steadily, grounding her in a world that sometimes feels too heavy. She closes her eyes and listens to the creak of wood, the rhythm of Spartan's breath, the faint hum of crickets outside. It's in this stillness that she finally lets herself feel what she's been running from. The memories of Ty don't come in flashes anymore. They come like waves, soft, endless, familiar. She whispers, "You'd know what to do." And for a moment, it's as if she hears his voice in the wind replying, "You already do." Outside, Jack stands on the porch, a cup of coffee warming his hands. He watches the night sky, tracing constellations like old friends. His life has been a map of lessons. Some learned too late, others learned the hard way. But when he looks inside and sees Amy with Spartan, he feels a quiet pride. He knows that every pain he endured, every loss he carried, shaped the strength she now shows. Jack doesn't need to speak his wisdom anymore. It lives on in the people he loves. Lou steps out, joining him in silence. Their bond, though often tested, remains unbreakable. She leans against the railing, tired but grateful. You ever wonder? The morning after the storm carries a silence that feels sacred. Dew clings to the grass, sunlight filters through clouds still heavy with memory, and the air tastes of renewal. Heartland breathes again, slower, softer, wiser. Every character moves through this new dawn with a quiet awareness that love, in all its forms, is both a gift and a burden. Amy walks down to the corral, her boots brushing against the damp earth. The horse she's been trying to reach stands still, calmer now, as if the rain washed away its fear. She doesn't rush. Instead, she steps close and lets her hand rest near its shoulder, waiting for it to choose trust. That's the lesson she's learning again, that love can't be forced. It must be invited. The horse exhales, its body relaxing, and Amy smiles faintly. It's not victory she feels, but connection, a reminder that even the broken can find their rhythm again. Jack, in his quiet way, tends to the fences. He's fixing what time has worn down, not just wood and wire, but the invisible bonds that hold the family together. He hums an old tune his father once sang, each note carrying a memory. For Jack, love isn't about words or grand emotions. It's about consistency, the kind that shows up every single day, even when it hurts. Lou, watching from the porch, realizes how far they've all come. She used to think strength meant control. Now she understands it's the courage to let life unfold, even when it doesn't follow the plan. She thinks about her daughters, about Amy, about the legacy their family keeps building without even trying. Maybe love isn't about holding everything together. Maybe it's about having faith that even when it falls apart, it will find its way back. Meanwhile, Tim drives out to the open pasture. He stops his truck, steps out, and lets the vastness of the land swallow his thoughts. This place, once just soil and fences to him, now feels like forgiveness. He's made mistakes more than he can count, but he's still here, still trying. And that's what love really asks of us, not perfection, just persistence. The episode slows down here, giving space for reflection. The music softens, the camera lingers on small things, the flick of a horse's tail, the creak of a gate, the warmth of sunlight breaking through. Each shot is a love letter to life itself, messy, fragile, as Amy looks across the field, toward her family, the people who've shaped her in every way imaginable. Her voice in a soft narration says, "Love isn't always easy. It's heavy, but maybe that's how we know it's real, because we carry it, even when it hurts." The camera rises slowly, showing the ranch bathed in golden light, the storm now just a memory. In that light, Heartland feels eternal, a place where love always finds a way to begin again. Night falls on Heartland like a slow sigh, the kind that comes after a long day of emotion. The ranch, once buzzing with the sounds of hooves and laughter, now lies wrapped in calm. But beneath that peace, something stirs, a quiet sense that change is coming. The fire in the hearth glows faintly, throwing soft light on faces that have seen too much and yet refuse to stop hoping. Amy sits by the window, watching the stars. Each one feels like a memory. Some bright, some fading, all part of the same sky. Her reflection blends with the night outside, and for a heartbeat, it feels like she's looking at both her past and her future at once. The horse she helped heal now rests in the stable, calm and free. It's a victory that doesn't shout, it whispers. She realizes healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet moments that tell us we've made it through. In the living room, Jack tunes his old guitar, the strings humming low, almost like a heartbeat. Lou joins him, and soon a soft melody fills the space. Not perfect, but real. That's what this family is, imperfect harmony. Their music carries through the house, drifting out to the fields, blending with the wind. Even Tim, standing alone by the barn, pauses to listen. For once, no one is arguing. No one is running. They're simply being. But as every story knows, peace never lasts forever. A phone rings. Amy's eyes flicker toward it, hesitation in her breath. The voice on the other end delivers news that could change everything, a new challenge, an old friend in trouble, a decision waiting at dawn. The episode doesn't show us the details, only her reaction, a look of quiet shock followed by resolve. Whatever it is, she knows she won't face it alone this time. Outside, camera follows the wind moving through the fields, the horses restless under the moonlight. The music swells, soft yet haunting. A narrator's voice enters, calm, reflective. Tomorrow always brings something new. But tonight, let's remember that peace isn't the absence of storms. It's the courage to rest before facing them again. As the final minute fades, the screen lingers on the ranch bathed in silver moonlight. The fire burns low, the stars shimmer, and the world feels perfectly still, for now. Then, just before the screen cuts to black, a distant sound, a horse neighing, a gate swinging open, teases what's next. The calm has ended. The story is far from over. The final words appear on screen. Next time on Heartland, when the past returns, will love be strong enough to face it? The first light of dawn breaks across the Heartland Valley, washing the ranch in gold. The air is still, touched by the chill of a new beginning. The storm has passed, but its echoes remain, in the soil, in the sky, and in the hearts of those who live here. Every sunrise at Heartland feels like a promise, no matter what yesterday brought. There's always another chance to try again. Amy steps outside, coffee in hand, the steam curling into the morning air. Spartan grazes nearby, calm and steady. She takes a deep breath, the kind that feels like letting go. The past, the pain, the questions that once haunted her, they haven't disappeared, but they've softened. That's what healing looks like here. Not erasing the scars, but learning to live with them until they no longer hurt. Jack joins her on the porch, hat in hand, eyes warm with quiet pride. There's a bond between them that doesn't need words, the kind built through storms weathered together. He looks at her and says simply, "You've come a long way, Amy." She smiles, eyes glistening. "We all have, Grandpa." And just like that, the weight lifts a little more. Inside, Lou prepares breakfast as sunlight spills through the window. The smell of pancakes and coffee fills the kitchen, ordinary, comforting, real. She hums under her breath, a tune Jack taught her years ago. It's in these little things, shared meals, soft laughter, small kindnesses, that Heartland shows its truest strength. This ranch isn't held together by fences or walls. It's held by love that refuses to fade. Tim walks in from the barn, his hands dusty, his eyes clear. He's a man still learning how to make peace with himself. But today, he feels closer. Maybe redemption doesn't come all at once. Maybe it comes one sunrise at a time. The family gathers around the table, no arguments, no tension, just warmth. The camera lingers on their faces, on the light in their eyes, in the unspoken truth that they've made it through another day together. A soft voiceover begins, carrying the final message, "In this place, the land remembers every story, every tear, every beginning. And no matter how far we wander, love will always find its way back home. Because at Heartland, every ending is just another way to begin again." The music swells, gentle piano and strings, as the camera rises high above the ranch. Horses run across the open field, dust swirling behind them like golden smoke. The screen slowly fades to white, and the words appear. Heartland, where love never leaves and family never ends. Then silence. Just the wind and the sound of hooves fading into the distance. The perfect close to another chapter in the story of Heartland.